A while ago now, I started my journey to buy a new property. With endless problems along the way, that journey has taken me nearly 3 years. A few weeks ago, I made a short video just quickly showing my latest property purchase. It might have been a little bit dramatic. Just a little bit. In today's video though, we'll be having a proper tour, and at the end of the video I'll be discussing how much it cost, how much it could potentially be worth, and also my reasonings behind buying this property. I'm hoping this will be the start of a new series. I really love property development. If you want to see how I get on in the future, then don't forget to subscribe for future videos. Let's begin then. So, as soon as you walk in, filth is kind of going to be a running theme in this video. It wasn't really cleaned when we moved in. Straight away, mystery hole. There's quite a few of those as well. I have no idea how this hole was even made, because if you look, it doesn't even come close to touching it because the skirting board won't let it. I have fixed it already though. Yeah, fixed. So yeah, I'm a bit scared to look in there, to be honest. As we come in, we've got the first front bedroom. There's hardly any flooring throughout, but with the smell, that's probably a good thing, to be honest. Everything covered in muck, but a decent sized room, nice and light. This wall, I don't think I've ever seen painting this bad. It's like Crayola's just been generally thrown in the direction of the wall. You see the state of the skirting board. It's pretty grim. Pretty grim. I don't know what this was painted with. I really don't know, but the cutting in was really good quality. You can see the state of the plaster. That's all we need chiseling out and filling before we can do anything with that. So, moving on to bedroom number 2. It's worth noting this is actually a Victorian industrial building that's been converted. But as we go through, I think you'll see there's just no real sort of character or sort of features. Oh man, I'm going to need to buy some bigger googly eyes. I don't know how that was even made. It looks like a head's gone through that. Yeah, it's going to take a bit of work sorting that out. Yeah, go down to the skirting again. More filth. But they left some treats behind for us, so that's nice. Other skirting board treats are available. A bit of impartiality. Yeah, the only thing I can really find in this thing is a little bit damp in this corner. The property is generally quite dry. There's a few little patches of damp. This may be one of the sources of it. So we've got a bit of a leak here from this radiator. It may be that radiator's been turned off where it's been leaking, so cold room, making a bit of damp in the corners in the cold spots. It may just be where it's kicking out a little bit of extra fluid into the room. With the carpets out and the lack of electric to test the heating system, it's really hard to tell with that one. But yeah, that's in a bit of a state that's going to need replacing. So into the hallway, we've got what suspiciously looks like rodent poo. There's just more filth, more filth. Into bedroom number 3. Again, not a bad size, it's not exactly a box room. We've got the nice high skylights, which is quite nice, to be honest. Makes the room feel a little bit bigger. Unfortunately, there's more filth. This room I thought would actually be the easiest room to sort out, and then when I actually started taking a better look at it, the walls aren't bad, it's square and flat, but the skirting, look at the state of that. That's going to be quite a bit of filler. And probably an absolute bucket load of elbow grease. It's not horrendous, but it's not great. What was concerning though is that it was obviously a kid's room, because kids' toys and things in there and crowns and stuff, and there's a lock on the outside of it. A little bit concerning. Again, we saw that in one of the other rooms as well, and there's also a bit of string on there as well, which I don't know if they're tied in as well, not sure. Another mystery hole. It seems to be the flavour of the day. Someone obviously got impatient waiting for the toilet. Just give it a little tickle. And we go into the bathroom. Unfortunately, there's no electric when I filmed this, because they'd run up a massive great debt. So it's been cut off. We've got another busted radiator. Again, that's going to need replacing before we can do anything really, because can't we turn the heating on until that's sorted. That's making a nice little mess on the floor. Bathroom's not too bad, it's not a bad size, a little bit of room. It doesn't look too filthy in this. I think it's just the light's doing a bit of favours, or lack of it. as soon as it got a bit of light in there, I mean, it took about 3 hours of cleaning. The extractor fan was completely busted. We took it off, and yeah, it's pretty clear to see why that was busted. That had not been cleaned for some time. That did not taste good either. State of that. Yum. And yeah, moving into the front room. So it's a front room / kitchen, sort of open plan. Not a bad size. Leads out onto a little courtyard garden. Could definitely do with a bit of clean before we do anything. There's just endless like cable holders all around the ceiling. Just pins absolutely everywhere. The ceiling, I think, at some point was white. It's not anymore. I think it's safe to say they're smokers. The smell in this place, I actually don't wish you could smell it because it's filth. Yeah, Henry's going to have his work cut out. I did bring my other Hoover here. It kind of just revolted, to be honest.
Why have you bought another dump? Where is Henry?
Oh, come on, mate, it's not that bad.
It's filthier than your search history.
Rude.
No thanks, boss, you can suck it for once.
Oh, George, come on.
No, human, I am done cleaning your mess. Curse my stupid robot Hoover attachments.
So yeah, the state of the floor kind of sort of shows how the property was treated, really. This, you know, this is how it's sort of left. There's another tiny little bit of damp in this corner just down here. So yeah, just the side of those French doors, there's a little tiny bit of damp, but I think it's explainable. I'll show you guys that in a minute. I don't think it's anything particularly too bad to worry about. There's a nice little a little dark line there, which is always what you want to see. I don't think they're very good at it, or even if they'd invited loads of stormtroopers to come around for a game of darts, because they could not hit the board for toffee. So yeah, we've got quite a few dart holes in the wall. That was what they were aiming for. That's only a clean little square in the kitchen, I think, to be honest. You see the state of that. That should be white. It looks like it was white at some point. It's not anymore. That really is grim. That piece there is behind the steelwork. It's just where they've extended the property out a little bit. So yeah, we're going to have a work cut out, I think, with this. Just giving it a really good clean first. Getting all the pins out, filling all the holes up, giving it a good clean. And yeah, we'll see what we're left with at the end of it. But the walls are straight. So this is the kitchenette in the corner. It's not too bad. It's actually sort of fairly clean, surprisingly. I don't know how much cooking they did here. The filter panels were quite greased up, so I guess they did some, but the kitchen was actually fairly clean. I was racking my brains for ages what was up with these wall cupboards. I mean, they're not square for starters. I don't know how well that picks up, but they're not square at all. It was that batten piece at the top that was throwing me off. I just couldn't quite figure out in my head sort of what the purpose of that would be. But they've actually been hung upside down. So yeah, that's what's thrown me for so long. I couldn't quite work out why they look so weird. I also had to put that batten in the top to sort of hold them in place. Those little those brackets in the bottom corner there should be at the in the tops. And if it wasn't a giveaway, the Howden's badge is actually upside down. But they made the same mistake with the other cupboard as well. So yeah, we've got the longest flue in the world. Why they just punch out the wall was beyond me. So if that was me personally, I'd move all the pipework for the boiler to where they're going to punch the flue out. So I guess they did the pipework first, and then yeah, went to where to put the flue. That flue, I mean, literally 30 seconds of cleaning, and that came up absolutely fine. All it took was a bit of sillet bang, a bit of a wipe, and it came up. So it was also not been cleaned for a long time. I haven't found the stopcock yet. I'm hoping it's not in there, because if it's in there, it can stay in there. I'll just flood the property if it needs any plumbing. So there you go, and get a proper view of that flue. If anyone's got a longer flue, please let me know. I'm pretty sure I've got a world-beating flue right there. That is the Tommy Lee of flues. So this is where I think the damp might be coming from. We've got a little bit of a seal break in the render there, so it just needs a bit of caulking. There's also quite a lot of debris in the drain, so it could be that's blocked up. And it could also be the guttering as well, as the guttering doesn't seem great. So it could just be sort of splashing back against that wall, but I think it's more than likely that seal. So we've got a nice little enclosed courtyard garden, we've got a little bar, it's actually quite well covered. It's not a bad little space, it's a real sun trap, it needs a lot of love, but the bones are good. It's pretty low maintenance at the minute, so hopefully it won't go completely wild while we're doing up the property, which means we can sort of save time to get the garden nice and sorted and get growing out there. The bar, yeah, it's interesting. It's not the best bit of craftsmanship, it's not too bad. It's tried to kill me a few times. I did hide in there for my children playing a little game. The wind then slammed the door shut and I nearly got impaled on these screws. It's a bit like Indiana Jones. I also sat on top as well and nearly, I nearly got a nice little surprise there. That went near my brown eye, and then that one, I don't know if you can see it just about there, that nearly went straight through my hand. So yeah, not the best craftsmanship. I think I'll be putting some shorter screws in there. But it's nice to have a bit of outdoor storage anyway for now. So yeah, moving on, I think first things first, we've got to evict our little tenants. There's been quite a few of these around just where it's been vacant for a little while. There's a few sort of spider nests and a few little creepy crawlies running around. Clean up all the food as well. We've actually been here a little while now, and I'm not kidding, the first 2 weeks we're just cleaning. Air freshener in every single room. This is the outbuilding here, so we've got a nice little outbuilding as well, a little garage. It's actually bigger than standard. It's been half plastered as well, which is a little bit odd. But it seems to be fairly recently done. I'm hoping it's not hiding any sort of bad sort of things, but it's nice it's been done because we are looking at a potential conversion here. We do have 2 meter boxes as well, which is a bit weird. This is an old commercial building that's been converted into a rental property very, very badly. So unfortunately we do have 2 meter boxes, but we do have a water supply as well in the garage, which is good. So I think this is part of the old commercial building. So yeah, that's the new property. It's going to take a little while to sort out, I think. Yeah, so like I said, it's an old commercial building that's been very, very cheaply converted. Basic Howden's kitchen, basic bathroom, just your very basic magnolia everywhere, just the usual really. So basically what we're going to be doing with it is pumping a bit of character back into it, because it's what the property deserves, I think. It's in a real up and coming area, it really is. We've basically bought the worst property on one of the best roads in the area, which is always a good bet when you're looking to make money. It's a real quirky property as well, and the fact that it's got parking, it's got a garden, it's 3-bed, it's near schools, near shops. It's a very, very versatile property. It just needs character, and I think we got it in absolute steal. I think one of the main reasons is that the filth aspect of it. I mean, people are going to be walking in here, they're just going to be seeing filth, but the bones are good. Like I said, there's hardly any damp. The damp where we're looking at, we can sort of explain the damp sort of fairly reasonably, which is always a nice sort of sign, to be honest. Something like living in damp properties doesn't do my chest any good. The walls are square, it's not an old renovation, so we're hoping we can sort of salvage the actual bones of it without having to completely gut the place entirely and sort of, you know, reskim all the walls, rip everything out, you know, new ceilings, new walls, that kind of stuff. It's not fun. If we can avoid doing that, it keeps the cost down, it just makes our lives easier. So in terms of cost, what did this actually cost? Well, all in, I'd say we're probably looking at about £200,000 with all the fees and everything. Realistically, could have bought quite a decent Ferrari for that. But I think really, in terms of the sort of neighbourhood, the area where we are, the cost of the renovations, I think realistically we could sell this property on after pumping, I'd say sort of 20k max. If we sort of do it right, I think we could look at maybe around £10,000 to do all the work. It just depends how much we can do ourselves and what troubles as well we find along the way. But I'd say realistically 10 to 15k, we can do a pretty decent job on this. You could do it cheaper if you wanted to, but we want to do it to a fairly decent standard. And like I said, you know, we want to be pumping some character into it. I think for that 10 to 15k, we could quite easily be making sort of 50 to 70,000 pounds on the property. If I'd bought a Ferrari, would it be worth sort of 50 to 70k more in a few years' time? I very much doubt it, to be honest. So yeah, I think realistically, I think for our money, this is actually going to be a very, very good investment. with times being so turbulent, you know, you see it. I post monthly stocks and shares ISA portfolio update sort of videos. You can see with that, you know, the market's been up and down, up and down, up and down. The same with my premium bonds as well. With my premium bonds, I held the full £50,000 allocation, and I couldn't even beat the basic sort of savings rate with that. You know, that's not to say I wouldn't in the future, but it's still a risk. I think this property certainly negates a lot of that risk. I think I can make more profit on this property than I could with premium bonds or stocks and shares. You know, I've had comments on my premium bonds videos sort of saying, you know, why don't you buy sort of property and whatnot? Well, here it is. Enjoy. So I also bought down my premium bonds as well to buy this. So I'll be making a video on that and sort of explaining my reasons in that video, sort of, you know, why I sort of bought that. So I'll go a bit more in depth with this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think anyway. I'll be making a few sort of videos with this, sort of, you know, my different options. You know, we can make this sort of, do the sort of, the cheap, basically, version of what's previously been done. You know, just a cheap upgrade, you know, slap a new Howden's kitchen in it, just give it a lick of paint, you know, bit of plaster here, there, whatever, carpets, you know, flooring, good scrub, tart it up and set it on. But I don't want to do this property. I think actually it does deserve more. And we're likely going to be living in it while we're doing it as well, just to make it a little bit awkward. So yeah, realistically, I like to sort of, you know, give it a good bit of love. Let me know what you guys think anyway. It's always great to hear. Alright, till next time, stay safe out there. Peace.